It's been said that homophobia has been rooted in hip-hop since its inception and has constantly been portrayed as the genre least accepting the LGBTQ+ rights. These views were popularized by rappers like Eminem and Tyler the Creator, who would frequently use homophobic slurs in some of their music. This, in addition to the phrases like pause, no homo, and sus, regularly being used by artists, which bled into pop culture.
You said something gay, so you gotta say no homo, or else you the homo.
With sayings like this being casually thrown out, it's obvious why homosexuality in hip-hop has always been taboo. It wasn't until the early 2000s where we saw the first gay rapper performing live on BET.
I'm keeping it real, you heard? Illest homo thug out the NYC. Move flexible, ow, ow. Caution, caution, cat, cat, cat. It's gonna get some beer, beer. It's gonna get some beer. Caution, it's gonna get some beer, beer. Meow, 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 bitch. This homo thug out the NYC. BK, New York, what?
This would become the very first mainstream representation of a rapper who was out of the closet. His name was Caution. What's even more interesting about Caution's story is that the rapper's rise to stardom initially began as a prank that went too far. Caution eventually gained enough interest in the industry where he was signed by Russell and Kimora Lee Simmons' Baby Phat Records. He performed live on television and received a multitude of interviews on big platforms like MTV, VH1, and various of others. What's surprising is the success of Caution's didn't lead to more gay rappers in the limelight. Here's what happened to Caution, the first gay rapper. Through research, the New York Times reported that in 1986, the song Hip Hop Don't Stop was recognized as the first hip hop record by an openly gay person. That song was recorded by Man Parrish. The article was published in 2003 and was also reported that at the time, there were at least 40 to 50 openly gay rappers around the world. However, it also admitted that most of them didn't use homosexuality the same way that Caution did. In a 2007 interview with All Hip Hop, it was revealed that singer, songwriter, producer, and ghostwriter Ivan Matthias created the character Caution. Shocking everyone, Matthias would tell the character's origins originally started out as a prank when he called into Hot 97 star and Buck Wild show as a flamboyantly gay rapper. It started out as a prank that we pulled on Funk Master Flex. A couple of us were hanging out at the crib. The Bash Brothers were there, a black magazine editor, a major record company publicist, and a music publicist. We were all sitting around listening to the radio and decided we wanted to prank Flex while he was on air. We said, let's call up in a flamboyant way and get on his records he was putting out at the time. Let's make up this character and call him up. It was a funny thing. He wasn't really trying to hear it, even though he didn't let me spit the rhyme. The next day and night, they were all talking about it on the radio. The next day, we decided to call Angie Martinez and try it again. She let us spit. She thought it was hot. That became an internal joke. For 2 weeks, we would take songs that were classic hip-hop joints and act as if the artist really existed. People were really buzzing about it. One of the people suggested that we get someone to pretend to be the face of Caution and send them to the station. So I called Jason. Now the success seemed to come overnight because it didn't take long for Caution to appear in publications like Newsweek and the New York Times, as well as being featured on platforms like MTV, BET, and VH1. Matthias would eventually get together with Hot 97 star, and the two set out to find an actor to play this flamboyantly gay rapper and stumble upon Jason Herdon, who agreed. Matthias would ghostwrite songs and lyrics for Herdon as Caution, whom he grew up with. Before turning to music, Herdon worked as a celebrity hairstylist with a list of clients that included Jennifer Lopez, Madonna, Kimora Lee Simmons, Sandra Lee, just to name a few. Herdon was signed to Russell and Kimora Lee Simmons' Baby Phat Records for a period of time, but unfortunately no record was released. Rap music is one of the most homophobic musics we know, but he's dope and he's unique because of his perspective on the world. I can't imagine that people aren't going to buy it. You think women and gay men won't buy it? It's a huge possibility. Simmons would continue, the hip-hop hardcore kid may think it's funny, may buy a single, but he's not likely to buy an album because you're not speaking to a lifestyle that they're aspiring to. All these rappers are talking about a lifestyle that people relate to or aspire to. I don't think the average straight hip hop consumer is going to buy it. But there's a lot of gay consumers buying rap records. Now, before Herdan settled on Baby Fat Records to represent them, he said there were quite a few labels that wanted to turn him into a house music artist or the RuPaul of hip hop. Herdan declined all those labels. You got Jay-Z talking about girls, girls, girls. Nelly, take your clothes off. They put their sexuality out front. What's the big deal if I put mine up front and come out open? I rhyme about everything. I just rhyme from a gay perspective. And it's not like it's a flamboyantly gay perspective. It's the next door neighbor. We saying the same thing. I just might put a little gay terminology in there.
And still I rise in the heat of the night like the front side of a skirt on a transvestite.
I'm sending a message out there of tolerance. You know what I'm saying? For people to realize that, hey, we exist. You know what I'm saying? So, let us rock.
When it came to the criticism that an openly gay rapper would receive, culturally critic Michael Eric Dyson would comment, "Your flow would have to be so ridiculous that Biggie would be envious." In all hip-hop interviews with Matthias, he was asked if Herdan had to learn the rhymes Matthias was writing. Matthias revealed that Herdan never learned Caution's rhymes, but instead had Herdan present himself as Caution to radio stations and having him show the executives his demo CD. He gave the executives my number so if they had to talk to him, they would talk to me. I was thinking I could put out a novelty record on him selling 500,000 records to females, another 500,000 to the gay community, and have a platinum record without selling to anyone else. After hearing his supporters, it seemed like Caution had the ability and popularity to make it in the rap industry. However, according to Simmons via an article from The Advocate, Novelty is the reason why Caution didn't take off. My A&R people passed on him because they thought his record was too much of a novelty. It's a really sexual record and it's about aggressive flame ideals. Maybe straights will buy it because it's funny and different. Frankly, I see it as an open door. Like the first generation of gay rappers will be more of a novelty thing. The second wave will be about lifestyle and attitudes. When dance music gets hot again, watch how many openly gay rappers will pop out of the woodwork. Dance is the music that's been accepted and embraced by gay culture for over the past 20 or 30 years. A rapper wants culture and lifestyle to be the basis of his or her rap. So a gay rapper in dance culture is obvious, but a gay rapper in hardcore hip hop culture is a strange thing. According to Matthias, there were several other music executives interested in signing the gay hip hop artist. However, it was mostly fear that kept them from doing so. I had an executive at a major label who's been responsible for a lot of successful hip hop artists tell me that he thought Caution was one of the most talented MCs he'd ever heard. He told me that he would love to sign him. But if Caution flopped, this executive said his career would be over. His representation as a hip hop hitmaker would be put into question as well as his sexuality. So when asked why he thought audiences caught on to Caution almost instantly, Matthias said, "I think the initial appeal came from the media. What the media gravitated towards was the fact that they have dealt with many people in hip hop. They know there was an underlying issue of sexuality that has not been dealt with in hip hop and urban culture in general. The fact that there was someone willing to challenge that or at least bring that conversation to the forefront was the appeal." When Herdan began working for Kimora Lee Simmons, she wanted Caution to rap for Russell Simmons and Rev Ron. According to Matthias, Russell wanted to put out a single for Caution, but Matthias knew it couldn't be done because Jason only knew 2 verses. Matthias would say things would come to an end in 2003 when Herdan's mother called Matthias to try and secure her son a job. "I couldn't really do anything for him. He was doing hair for local chicks for $50 in his mother's living room. He couldn't get any work after it came out that he had legal troubles. He was one of those people that I would say are just like the people who are consumed with MTV and urban culture. He wanted everything fast and now and didn't want to work hard for it. Breaking barriers and disrupting trends in hip hop is something that only happens for a few. When this does happen, backlash is expected as it's much easier to follow a trend that those who have come before you have already done. Caution was supposed to be the rapper who opened doors for the generation behind him. If Caution debuted now, he'd be much more likely to achieve success in mainstream rap. now that artists like Lil Nas X and Tyler, the Creator, have broken those barriers and disrupted trends for him. Stay up to date with the latest news and comedy by subscribing here to our YouTube channel. Follow Comedy Hype across all social media and look out for new original content on our streaming service at comedyhype.com. For Hype Plus News, I'm Symphony Thompson.